Okay, here we have the Dwarven Forge Cavernous River and Walls set, and I've made up a very small simple piece here. This is a double layer box, but it's quite a small box, but they've introduced again flexible walls, so you get a number of actual tiles. And what you'll see here is you've got a completely removable wall section here, so that this could be part of a more open set that links in with some of the other cavernous passages or cavernous cave sets that you've got from Dwarven Forge, or indeed have it enclosed. So I'm going to take a few of these walls off just to give you an idea of what you actually have here. And as you can see, I actually bridged, or I should say blocked, a T-junction piece here by using a wall, but I could have equally balanced. Yes, all of this comes off. A rather menacing looking archway with sharp points that could well fall down on them at any time. You've got I'm going to reveal all of these pieces now by taking off all the flexible walls. So you've got a number of options here: a dead end, a corner piece, a crossroads, a corner piece, a straight on, a T-junction. I've just knocked it over, and that's one thing you've got to watch out for. These are being flexible. These are a little more let's say, I don't want to say that they're not fragile, etc. in any term, in any way, but they are more susceptible to being knocked over by players, and a little double blue tack, etc., or something that will temporarily hold that in place is probably going to do you some good if you're using this set for longer. I mentioned the word fragile, so I'm going to quickly touch on it because I mentioned this in the Cavernous Lake set review. These lumps, etc., are far sturdier. They're more squat and rounded, and I'm much happier with them. So there is a 3D element to these pieces, as you can see here, but there's no pointy fragileness on the actual bases themselves. They're a lot more, they're much thicker and sturdier kind of mineral deposits. Possibly you could say that some of these drop down sections here are a little bit more fragile, but I think the effect's worth it in this case. Okay, so straight ons, and again another corner piece here. So you don't get actually many sections here, and very much you've got to have more than one river and wall set, as they've called this kit, to do real justice. Absolutely is begging to be linked with the Cavernous Lake set to solve some of the problems that the Lake set has, and to utilise the two sets together. Included in the set is a rather nice large wooden bridge, so it's made of two nice logs on the bottom here. There's no felt on the bottom of the walls or these extra pieces, unlike as is the case on all the Dwarven Forge. You get this nice brown felt base, but this would bridge two areas quite nicely. Not a very good example here, but assuming that you actually have a crossing area, what I'm going to do is quickly make a bit of room, and I'm going to bring in a couple of pieces from the normal Cavern set. So let me just bring in a floor piece here that just obviously would touch here, and again I'm going to make a bit more room as I do this, bringing in another piece of the same type. So that's why the flexible walls make a lot of sense, because you'd actually be using this in conjunction with other sets, other cabinet sets, and then you've got an absolutely fantastic bridge that really does span the river very well, so the players don't have to get wet feet as they cross over the bridge. Again, you've got some nice touches. The walls are well detailed. This growths, etc. It's not just caves, it's very encrusted, the moisture. You can see kind of a mineral deposit build up throughout. What I do like is when you do interlock these curved walls, oops, he says knocking over my brave adventurer farmer figure, they lock in quite nicely between the stalactites and stalagmites already on there, so it actually becomes quite solid, he says. And once it's in place, it's pretty good. So let me just show you that from above. And another piece, I'm going to show this a bit more carefully. So you've got here some raised points, one there, and a small boulder or two here. And this just slots in quite nicely. So you've got a really good point touch here. This mixes and melds in very well with the lighter coloration parts here. And again on the inside, it all fits in quite nicely, and it doesn't actually lock in place, but as you can see, that's quite solid now. That those two pieces are nice, and I'm very happy with this. This I think works really well. I don't think the players are going to knock that too much. I think that makes it quite solid. So with this set, one really clever thing that Dwarven Forge have done by introducing the flexible walls is when combining it with other sets, you can decide whether you want to open plan or as part of a much bigger set, or enclosed as a very small, hidden, dark and deep and mysterious narrow passageway for the dudes in their little boat to venture down the River Styx. Obviously that bridge is going to be absolutely no good at all if there is a boat going down it. So you could actually imagine yourself opening up into a cavern, having come down a very dark and dingy feeling corridor area. Let me just quickly put the dead end back together again, same kind of idea. One last side wall, and you get a little idea of the idea I was just mentioning there, where the players could have come down a really dark passage. They had no idea. They come around the bend and then to a huge open cavernous area that happens to still have some river and or lakes. Okay, so I'm going to take away the pieces that aren't to do with this set, just to let you quickly see again what you are getting for your money on this one. And you have a few other adornments here that I've not yet mentioned, which is a nice little water falling pot pool thing. So you've got a kind of place you could designate a little bit of a waterfall type feature. That takes quite a few areas. Nothing to do with the caverns or rivers, etc., but it's quite a nice little touch. I do like this when you open up the boxes and you see all these little spaces in the polystyrene filled with units. You really do think you're getting good value for money, and I like all these little touches. So you've got 4 little skull-made little statuette figures here, which are designed just to horrify and terrify any adventurer coming in, possibly the bridge. Crossing, etc. Could have a couple of these things on it, or before it on the ground, etc. So you've got a number of options going on there. And again, if you are trying to spook and scare the players a little bit more, you can have them. You can just say you can't see through this darkness and try to tempt them through maybe on their boat or boats, or they're swimming, etc., into darker caverns. You could have a black cloth rather than this beige, and you could just be using the walls and just say, you know, it goes absolute inky black. So there's a lot of options and variety you can do with these walls, and obviously using a different colour matte than I'm doing, as well as introducing standard tile sets from other Dwarven Forge sets. I'm going to add a little bit of colour again. I like my plants. I like my cavernous dwelling plants, and I think at the end of this run they've got to find something, a bit of treasure, and I think it's going to be yo ho ho, he says, knocking over, getting the skulls at night, and a barrel of rum or two. So that's a really nice little addition, and I'm going to show you some examples of the river and the lake set if you watch some other videos.